Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne. It's still January the 9th, 2017. This is my third video today. I had a request. Somebody wanted me to go over the 1, 2, 3 indicator or function of the dashboard. 1, 2, 3. The chart pattern: a lower high followed by a higher high followed by a lower high, or a higher low followed by a lower low followed by a higher low. 1, 2, 3. That's what I call it. So the TRO 1, 2, 3 indicator puts arrowheads. It puts a red on the top, meaning you want to short, and a blue on the bottom means you want to buy. Sometimes you get both. Because see, here we had a higher high and we had a lower, higher, lower. Here we had higher, lower, higher. So the indicator says, hey, that's what happened and that's what it plots. So in the dashboard here, this is my test version. So guys, if you don't have the test version, and only a few people have it because it's for testing, and there could be some bugs in there. There's over 4,000 lines of code, so I haven't gone down every path yet. So if you find a bug, let me know. Just send me an email and send me a screenshot so I can see what you see, and so I can understand, and then possibly even send me a send me what your inputs are, or send me your template. Except if you've got your program files in a bunch of different subfolders, your template's not going to work on anybody else's computer unless it's configured the same. Anyway, back to it. So we're here. We got the 1, 2, 3. I've got it set for the current chart period. Okay. So you can see here, got a low. Now somebody says, well, the bar hasn't closed. Well, you might want to know ahead of time. And if you want to only see it when the bar is closed and it's not going to change, some people say it's repainting. No, it's not repainting. Okay, so stick in bar number 1. And you can see here, you don't get anything because there's no pattern. Okay? Because if you start here, it would indicate this. Because the pattern needs 3 bars. Okay? So if you were on this bar, this wouldn't appear. But I prefer to have it on the current bar. So what we can do, to show you the difference, let's put this over in column 3. And then here in column 2, we'll load up 1, 2, 3. And we want the current chart period and 0 for the bar number. So here's the previous, here's the current. Okay. So it looks like we've got some interesting patterns here. Okay, we've got a high, then a low. Okay. You got the low, high. Now you might think that this is off, but this is referring to the bars computing. So once again, you have to look here and say, you know what? Okay, this bar is part of this 3-bar pattern. See, 0, 1, and 2. Okay. So the current bar is included. But if you turn on if you set it back a bar, then this bar is not included. Okay. So since this bar is not included, you've got 1, 2, 3, so you've got a low. Just like what it says there, a low. So, okay, so that's the bar pattern. So basically what you're looking for is after you get that pattern, or sometimes you can say currently, you're looking to trade. So, for example, here You come down, and on this bar right here, well, no, because that got canceled out. Let's find a better, can we find a better candidate? Maybe here. It made a lower low, made a higher low. Lower low, higher low. Okay? You could almost think of it as a, no, you can't really. You have to have all three bars. So see here, higher low, lower low, higher low. So now, when this bar closes, you can take the long entry. Okay, let's look at this one. Lower high, higher high, lower high. So when this bar closes, you can take the short. That's how the 1, 2, 3 works. But I like to have it so if you see this current bar happening and it's triggering, it's just like, you know what? Maybe I should just go ahead. It's not making a new, if it's not going higher, it must be going lower, right? So that's why this indicator has the arrowhead here right now. And of course, if you want to change how that indicator works, you've got the My Shift. It's set to go to 1. You can actually shift it back another bar. And you won't get that reading until after the bar closes. You saw that happen, I hope. When it triggered that new bar, you saw it pop. But I like it this way. Okay, also, I've got some fibs that will plot. Usually you don't use fibs on something that narrow, but here we go. So between the last red and blue arrows, it will give you fib projections. Okay? So for those of you who like to do fib retraces, so for example, if you wanted to do a fib retrace and you wanted to punch out at the 50 line or the 61.8 line, you target for this area for nice little scalps. So that's what the fibs do. I thought I better tell you about that. Otherwise, I know I'd get a question. But when I'm using it, I usually don't have the fibs turned on. So I hope that answers the questions about the 1, 2, 3 indicator. I wrote that one. That's why it starts with TRO. Did I invent it? No. I think I read it in a book somewhere. 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure. I think there's a couple people that lay claim to it, but I'm sure it's been around since Japanese candlesticks or something. So who knows who the original person was who quote unquote invented it. So I think that's about it. Keep your questions and ideas coming. In fact, I just coded another new indicator for a guy today who he was working with strength. So when you make a request, how it works is if I think it's interesting, then I'll code it. If I don't, I won't. It's that simple. I don't have to agree with it. It's just whether or not it's interesting. I may never use it, but if I think, hey, this is interesting, or hey, you might be onto something, yeah, I'll code it up. Ideas for the dashboard. Different people want different things. And so if it's easy, in fact, I've coded up a couple things while people are on the phone. And sent it out because it's a lot easier to talk it through than sometimes it is to email back and forth. In fact, I got a phone call from Holland today. We talked for a couple minutes, but then the connection dropped. But hey, I hope it warms up over there for you guys. Let's see, what else? Oh, maybe talk a little bit about some trading philosophy. I talk to people, once again, who keep flip-flopping from strategy, method, indicator with little to no success. If you guys could just settle down, I mean, really, you should just put a horizontal line on the chart. I mean, what I would suggest is if you're having problems, I mean, really, go to the weekly chart, okay? And put yourself, go to last week, put a horizontal line at the top, put a horizontal line at the bottom, and maybe put a horizontal line at last week's close or this week's open. And when price comes to the line, trade in the direction price is moving. That's all you have to do. If you can get that down, if you can stick with that for a month, that's all you have to do. If you just stick with that, you'll be profitable. Okay? But if you start adding a bunch of squigglies and a bunch of other stuff on there, you're just you're just working against yourself. I mean, really. You cut down on all the variables. You trade one pair, not a bunch of pairs. And if you just settle down and quit trying to make your screen trading like Vegas, where there's constant action, you're going to do so much better. In fact, that's why I like talking to traders and working with traders while I'm trading, because now I'm really focused in, because I don't want to look bad in front of you guys, that's for sure. And the other thing is that I can really concentrate, and then I can let trades happen. I mean, I'll share with you something last night. I mean, let's flip over to the daily. Yesterday, I put on a trade, a short, right near the open, okay? Right near the open. And the reason I went short, because the pivot was down around 116.39, I believe, somewhere down here. Okay? Well, the trade went against me, but I wasn't too concerned. And as you can see here, we have a high of 117.52. And it started going against me. It was like it wasn't filling that little gap. I'm going, what the heck's going on? Well, what was going on, right around here, I think it was Thursday, there was a missed pivot. And I forgot to check my missed pivots chart. So long story short, it filled that pivot. And when it went up there last night, I said, geez, so I added to my losing position, something they tell you not to do. One of those things like, the trend is the friend. But you can trade your way out of things sometimes. So I added to it at the pivot, and then I thought, well, the way the yen's been going, I'll take a trade. I think my average was about 117.13. I go, well, it should probably come down to at least the double O. So I'm looking around at the chart. I go, well, I'll exit out at, say, 117.08. I'll make 5 pips off the deal. Well, I should have left things alone. Should have left my original target of the pivot in, because as you can see, price is now at 116.054 is the close, right? So it would have taken it out. So I guess the lesson to be learned is plan your trade your plan. And stick to it. Leave things alone. Quit fiddling with stuff, and just let the market do the work. I mean, if I would have just left the trade alone and maybe not even come back to my screen about now, I'd say, hey, look at how many pips I just banked. But I had a good day. I think I made up for not getting that trade in my little scalping, 5 to 10 pips or whatever I make per trade. And that just goes to show you, fellow traders, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. TheRumpledOne signing off, draining the banks.